Much better. Sorry about that. Had to adjust to setting on my microphone. Anyway, this is what we're gonna be building today, or finishing out, I should say. And add a little bit of styling here to different parts of the site. Add a search bar. We can search by genre. Reset the filter. Search by text or text and. Other than that, the rest of the website's pretty much the same. Like I said, those are the main functionalities we're going to be looking at, plus some styling stuff. Should be a lot of fun. So let's dive into it. We left off step 5 or so here, I think. Yeah, part 5, updating the model. Should have gone down a little further yesterday. So we need to add the route template constraint to our edit, details, and delete pages. Essentially, that's gonna, it's essentially, or at the end of the day, gonna change the URL routing from this up here with the ID question mark ID to just a regular slash route. And we're going to do that by telling each of these page models to use the route template ID int. And that's going to, I don't think we had to add this, I'm pretty sure. That's going to fire this function that will return not found if the ID field is null, equal to null, or empty. Yeah. So that's pretty much my understanding of it so far. It also calls out that we can make it, what verbiage did they use? Yeah, optional, with a question mark at the end. But that's, and they have a little test behavior part in here, but both result in 404, so I'm not sure. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're going to want to add this, or we want to add ID int to our edit, details, and delete pages without the question mark. So I'm going to close up this, drop this guy out of the way, and we'll get into it. So you can see here on pages, movies, details, or details.cshtml. I've got the ID int up here next to page. I'm going to copy that, and we're going to go to and do the same thing for our edit. Okay, I guess that's how the formatter wants it. Edit and delete .cshtml. You just add ID int up there for a constraint, and that should be good. And if we build it, bring this guy up over here, go over to movies, details, and yep, we now have our regular hash route here. And if you are at all curious about what the documents are showing, you bring up your dev tools and go into select mode here. Yeah, because we did it for details too. So highlight this whole div here, and that'll highlight it for you in your dev console over here. And you can see that the route that the .NET or the framework added. I am back, Mentalix. Woo! Is just the regular slash route, as opposed to, let's see, where was that? Details, I believe. If we got rid of this, rebuilt it, and brought it back up. See, the page isn't found. But if we go ID equal to, we get the exact same page with the same. I'm guessing that didn't reload. Let's see, got details. It's kind of interesting. Oh, wait. I have an idea why, but right, because that's building it from. Oops. Well, at any rate. So that's what the route constraint does. So and now that we know that and have that done, can move on to adding search. So this will be adding the search functionality up here underneath our create new button. So yeah, first thing we're going to do is create the create the functionalities for the search queries. And then task. Movies index. Yeah. Yep, so we're in pages, movies, index.cs, html.cs. And let's move the index model. Yeah. Right under we're going to add this block of code here. So we're adding the property search string, binding that property, or binding the property supports get equals true to the search string property, initializing the get and set methods, initializing select list for the genres search, the get and set method, and then binding the property supports get equals true to the movie genre property that we're setting. And so these two are, or well, this property that has this attribute bound to it. This property is going to be our title search, and then these two will both be used to for the genre filter search. And let's just go through that. First line in the onsync. So now we're working, and we're going to add the functionality to this on get method. Yep. So we're going to update this on get async task. So the first line, the first line we're adding here is a link query to select the movies. Yep, hyperlink in the documents to go into more information about that, but essentially it's what I gather, it's setting up the database. And we're checking to make sure that the string is not null or empty with the exclamation point. So if string dot is null or empty, given the parameter or the argument search string, return, if this function returns false, then we're gonna set movies, or then this movies equals movies where where movie essentially movie.title contains a search string. Right, yeah. And then then at the bottom here, regardless, we're setting movies as movies.toList async, which is a helper function, I believe, that gets and renders, or no, it just formats it into a list to display, I think. Yeah, essentially this toList async method is the final function that returns formats the data as part of the final function in the query execution. So let's build this. Oh no, we need to add. Oh, right, but we are able, or we should be able, to, what was it already? Oh, yeah. Should be able to paste this into our URL and get our filtered results. So our argument was Ghost. We had Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. Boom. Well, that's not good. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but Sirens are going off. Eh. You only live once. So, yeah, no, that broke my concentration. Okay. All the more reason to keep going quickly. So now we are going to add the UI functionality. There it is. We're going to add this filter form to pages movies index.cs htmlcs.cs, and we're going to add this right up underneath the create new, still inside this p tag. No, not inside the p tag. I thought that sounded weird. So drop this form in here. Just well, you'll see what it puts up there right now. Bam. But if we change this and hit filter, well, things actually happen, which I was a little surprised by, but we don't get the right, I don't know, maybe it, oh wait. Yeah, because that was the functionality that we added before, and okay. Yeah. So never mind me. The functionality is there and works. Yeah, we can go Rio, and boom. Okay. So that was simple, and yeah, that's all that took. Then to set it up there. So obviously we got just an HTML input with the type text, and we're setting the parameter or the property, the movie property. Yes, the movie property that we're dealing with as search string, or that search string property that we set earlier. Back in, where was that index? Okay, yeah. So not from movie, but from index, the index model. We set search string, and this ASP4 is where that connection is being made, essentially, between those two values. So then all of the logic for actually sorting and displaying and passing the database data or the query result back to the client is all done in the .cs folder file for index. So yeah, found that pretty interesting. Definitely something to get used to, but I definitely do like it and see the benefits of it. A nice clear separation of concerns between what's displayed and the logic behind it. So now we're going to add the rest of the logic for the genre. I'm going to, so we're going to jump back into index.cs, cshtml.cs, and then we're going to update this public on task async again. So we now added a genre query similar to the movies query that we had down here before. But this is checking the distinct genres. Oh, I think it's because we're actually we have to use like this iQueryable and the data type declaration. Yeah, the string declaration. This iQueryable and string declaration, I believe, are because we're ordering them, or we're pulling specific properties from the context and not just the whole context. That's what I gather. Would love to know if I'm wrong though, and what the right answer is for sure. I said in the, or I think I said in the first video, going through doing this project to learn or get an introduction into ASP and .NET, the C# language, and also because I've got a job interview tomorrow that the company uses this tech stack, the Visual Studio 2019 IDE, but yeah, so I just thought it'd be a good and fun opportunity to go through and learn a little more, or learn a little bit about that tech stack, this tech stack, and not be totally out of the know in the interview tomorrow. But yeah, that's a little bit about the why. Let's get back into the how. So we're still using the same search string logic here. We're filtering for the title that contains search string. Another if statement, if the movie genre selection isn't equal to null, so if this function returns false, we're going to set movies equal to our genre query results. Is that right? No, where X genre equals, where the movie, movies where movie.genre is equal to movie genre, which is set by the select list in the UI. So that's if a selection for movie genre is made. And genres is getting, this is using this genre query to get the list of available genres. And that's to build the select list for the UI. Yes. So now, I believe, add this. So back over in index CS.html, right above that first entry we had, we'll enter select. Again, the ASP4 movie genre, that property we made it in index model. The ASP items, it's that model.genres, the genres property that we declared or we set at the bottom here. And the default value, or the default option, all the empty string value or a null value. So that's going to, essentially when the default value is selected, that's going to that's going to make this function return true, and the code will bypass this if statement. In a nutshell. So now, well, yeah, build, and here it is, moment of truth. Hey, look at that. Let's drop this back out. Perfect. Excellent. There we are. So now we're going to, yep, the next step here is we're going to add a field to the database the database objects, the movie models, or the movie model. That's weird. Yeah, we're going to add this rating property to the database models. So, yeah. So in movies, no, models. Yep, models, movie.cs. Down here under price, just a public string rating set get equals string.empty, and actually calls out adding this string.empty default to these, and then we can remove, right? Yes. Remove the question mark from these strings. I never had one there. Perfect. So, yep, leaving the property attributes, all that stuff the same, just adding rating here at the bottom, the rating property at the bottom, and this string.empty default to title, genre, and rating. If you got that, we're good to go. And next, we need to add the rating field. Oh, right. So this is going to be an index.cs HTML. And above this empty row that apparently we need, I'm not sure why. I'm just going to paste in basically the same information up here. You can get it from the docs or the row up above and change it to rating down there. And we're going to do the same for our bottom section. Why it did that. There we go. And then we need to update all of our schema pages. Well, yeah, our create, delete, details, and edit pages. So we will start. Yeah, we'll start with delete up here. So we need to copy. Control D does that in Visual Studio. That's good to know. Oh, I almost messed that up though. Let's see though, I can just do this. If I lose power, I will be back on as soon as I can. Definitely hope that doesn't happen, but I'm going to keep going as long as I can. So that's the delete. We're going to go to details, and this part I am grabbing from the part I did, or my trial run, the repository that was running the website I showed you at the beginning. But just copying the bottom 2 rows of data here in delete, details, edit, and this is all the .cs HTML pages. Try and give enough time to pause it too. So that, I think we got it to, oh, maybe not create. Yeah, because I don't have create open. So we'll open up create, and there we go. So now now running the, if we were to try and run the website or run the app right now, it'd throw a SQL exception because we haven't updated the migration. Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is add the rating add a rating to each of these movies. So once again, I'm just going to copy and paste. Oh boy. And then we're going to want to comment out, see, I'm trying to remember, or no, I should probably look and build the solution. That can't be. So I'm going to go through and delete all of the data from our database. Close this window and build the file. To web servers no longer running. Well, that's interesting. before I do anything too crazy, let's just try this. Web server is no longer running. Well, I'm not sure what I did there. Of course. For some reason or another. Okay, but that one works still. Well, that might be my sign. Sure is irritating, or sure is curious though. Yeah, but without being able to run and debug. Ah. That must have been the problem. How do I exit this now? Probably something here. Oh, is it because... Let's try that. What was the command? we're going to run add migration and rating, then update database, and that's in the package manager console. That will update our database to include the rating property that we just assigned in the seed data and in the UI. Add migration rating. And a build. And then we're going to run update database. That was a lot of lightning. Okay. Now we're going to run. Hey, look at that. We're back up. And we've got our ratings. Boom. I mean, I'm plugged into a surge protector. It'll be fine. Okay. So next we're going to add validation, which, oh right, so validation to our movie class, so that when we're going to validate the fields that get created, so the incorrect data or incorrectly formatted data or data types can't be entered into the database. And here once again I'm just going to select all and copy it back from the docs, and then we'll jump through it here. So we got our public and ID. I mean, that's the initial key. Yeah, that's what that is. Then we got a required parameter and a string length parameter, maximum of 60, minimum of 3, and that's for the those parameters are for the title field. And yeah, I have this commented out. I'm not sure why, because I still like having the space in the release date label. But yeah, that's all that one's doing still. Then we have a range of 1 to 100 for the price, the decimal places. I assume that means 2, so maybe it's 18 forward. I'm assuming this means how many decimal places it shows, but I'm not sure what the 18 is at all, which leads me to believe that I'm incorrect about my assumption with the 2. But regardless, I do know that these parameters are all for price, validating that genre, validating the characters that can be used, required, string length, maximum 30, no minimum. Well, minimum 1, I suppose, because it can't be null. And similar for rating, but it can include numbers, whereas genre can't. So that's where you get like PG-13 and NC-17, I think, used to be a rating, or maybe it still is. Then, yeah, string.length maximum 5, and it's also required. And all of that, again, is validation for the form, or the create form, which, yes, we can check out now. So we're going to build it out. Oh, had some build errors. Movie design system. Namespace movie does not exist. Namespace reservation. Before I cheat and look over at the working code, the type or namespace name movie could not be found. But that doesn't make any sense, because so I must have copied something wrong. Oh. I know what it was. Because this isn't movies. It's tutorials. Tutorial. Right? Yep, that'll make a difference. So here we are. We go over to create new, and if we enter, say something like that, hit create, see we get the validation. The field title must have a string with a minimum of 3 characters, maximum of 60. We should have gotten something. This, yeah, if we make apparently you can't have punctuation. Oh yeah, there's probably usually not punctuation in a genre. But so yeah, I mean that was cool. That was cool though. See that it automatically updates too, and the docs go on to explain a little bit that it uses jQuery to do these auto updates. And like the price is set between 1 and 100, that constraint. But yeah, cool. The validation is working. Oh hey. So, and then now you can see we're just going right through the docs here. So if model is valid. Yeah, so that's, and this is just showing, let's see, it's in index. Nope, it's in create. .cs. So pages, movies, create.cs, html.cs. And if model state is valid, return page. Stay synced. Yeah. So saying this is what creates this function here, this method here is what creates the new movie in the database. And right here is where it's checking for the model state or the form state is valid. So it's using those validation rules to check, and it's checking that context isn't null and movie isn't null. So if it's checking to see if model state is not valid, or if either of these are equal to null, then it'll return page and not create the post. Otherwise, it'll run this it'll add movie to the context and await the run save changes as sync function. Once the save changes once this function returns, the method will return a redirect to the movie's index page. So that's how that all works from a high level view and the best of my understanding at this point. And yep, just going through the data type attributes. Doing good, running into a more like 435. I knew you'd be looking too. Jump back over. Yeah, and that's just reviewing the data type currency. Okay. And the display format for date. So that's just adding a date format parameter to the release date property. I'm not even sure if I added that correctly in the first time around. Might just be going through. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just explaining a bunch of data type attributes. So then this is where, yeah. So then, and again, I encourage you all to go through the docs, like as we're going through this, and read through all the different information about it. But there's a lot of information there over these data type attributes, parameters, and the change I just pasted in here. It's basically taking those stacks of parameters and combining them onto one line. So you can see here for genre, we've got the string formatting expression, the required, and the string length parameters all in this one line. Same with the rest of them. So then apply migration. Oh, right. So yeah, then it goes on to show, and I'll show it here again. And it's the top one, databases, for me is the second from the top one. For you, it'll probably be the top one. Tables, movie, right click and view designer. So it's basically, if you have followed along, you can look up, or kind of pay attention to how this looks and how the parameters look now versus after we run the migration again, which we will do right now back in our package manager console. We're going to run the same two base commands again, add migration, but this tag we're going to name new underscore data, and no, bear with me here. No, I mean, it doesn't really matter what it's named, but commits are forever. Probably not, but that's how I look at it. Okay, so add migration, new data annotations will be the name of the migration. Build succeeded. Yep. And then we're going to, then we got to run the update hyphen database command. Succeeded. And then if we view this designer again, you can see that it's updated the parameters or the data annotations. Yeah, again, it's one of those things that's easier to read through in the docs, but I wanted to show you how to do it anyway. Just navigating to this movies or .movie file, element property, and view designer. That's how you get in there. And how you get out of there. We will figure out. And that is where the guided tutorial ends. So what we've got here, we got a working filter. Oh yeah, because there's no comedy Alice, but with working CRUD functions. So, but it looks a little, I don't know, generic. So let's style it up a little bit here. Sounds like the storm's subsiding out there. So in the www root folder, you'll have a CSS, JS, lib folders. Going into the CSS and then site CSS. And that'll bring up your site CSS document. And I'm trying to remember where all. I will have links to the repositories, by the way, with or to the repository with a couple different branches for each, or branch for each video, I guess what I should say. There we go. adding in a few things here. And let's start with the index delete page. So we're going to, the dot in these tags, I mean, it's CSS. So we're looking for a class, a delete class. We're going to add that to layout. No, not layout. Index. Movies index. Down here. We're going to add class equals delete. We're going to build. And that's all it takes. Or yeah, that's all it takes to link up the CSS for that. Jump back to the CSS. So we've got our normal delete class and then our delete class when the cursor's hovering over it. Yeah. Transition ease in and out for the background color and text color transition. Yeah, just CSS. Then these body and nav a tag. Let's see, let's get this sized a little better. I'll figure out how to do this one way or another. Yeah, this class right here, the CSS code block right here, is what gave us or took the underline and changed the color of all these other A tags. But it also changed the privacy tag down here to black, which with our black background doesn't work very well. So we're going to change that color right now. We're going to go to layout, down to the bottom here, where the privacy A tag is. And we're going to give this an ID equals privacy. Hopefully I spelled that right. Yeah, and that's indicated by the pound sign here, this ID. And again, we got a hover and regular class for that. Build it out. Looks like it built successfully. I didn't spell it right, did I? Oh, it's not capitalized. That'll do it. And build it again. Another fun fact, if you modify the .cs files, you have to rebuild it for the changes to take effect, but .cs, any changes to the site.css file will automatically, or will hot reload, I guess, on the browser end. Didn't realize that either. But yeah, now our privacy link is changed to ace blue, the same color as the background, which happens in the right here, changing the body to Alice blue. Just a little bit nicer white to look at, in my opinion. But that changing it for the body in the body element here, changes it for all of our middle, everything in this middle section here. That's not the nav or the overall HTML page. Just a nice simple way to add to your color scheme. So where are we at here? What else do we have to do? I think that might be it. Oh, nope. Right, the create. Oh, I remember now. So we're gonna add a reset button and make this create new an actual button. So we're gonna go to index CS HTML, and up here let's see. Yeah, that's right. I just ended up using an A tag. So we're going to paste in this A tag, call it a button, but we're giving it the boot class name, button danger. That'll turn it to the red button class that Bootstrap utilizes. And and that being said, we're going to do the same thing for this class up here, or this create new A tag up here. So we're going to give it a class equals btn, btn, btn. We're going to name it, or give this one the success class. That'll turn it, or give it that green Bootstrap button look. And and yeah, the reset button link is really just a link back to movies index, with which loads up with the search parameters zeroed. There's probably a more elegant way to do that, but yeah, it works. So let's build that. Bring this back up, and boom, yeah, we got oh, I did forget to do that. So in our this first submit input that we made as part of the tutorial, give that a class name of btn space btn hyphen primary, I think. Yep. So primary gets us the blue button, success gets us the green, red gets us reset, or danger gets us red. A little bit of custom CSS that we added going on here. Yeah, definitely room, a little bit of room for improvement if you guys wanted to keep going with some of this. But I mean, I am definitely glad I went through this project twice now. But definitely feel like I can at least have a conversation about the very basics of ASP.NET Core now. Definitely hoping I get this job, and I'm hoping I get to work with it every day. That'd be really, really awesome. I really enjoy working with this framework, and the Visual Studio IDE definitely takes some getting used to, but I'm liking it a lot. But yeah, those are my final notes. I guess, from this project. The last thing we'll do is I will commit these changes here. Yeah, which I've got the IDE all logged into my GitHub and everything, all that all set up. But once you get that set up in the IDE, changing your branches is as easy as going up here. You can create a new one. Like I said, I've got the main that'll be the overall solution, same as this one really. And then steps 1 through 5, steps 6, 5.5 technically, through where we're ending up here. Just close. And I'm just going to commit these. Tutorial finished. And you can see it created that locally. I can sync it to GitHub. And yeah, once again, I'll have the link to that repository in the description. At least that's the plan. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you stuck around this long and hung out this far, hopefully you got an awesome application to add to your portfolio like I do now too. Hopefully I was able to help you through that documents tutorial. Yeah, I guess above all, I appreciate you sticking around, and I will see you next time. Till then.